Hey, what's up guys, Pallav here from nothingwire.com, and Apple has finally launched the iPhone 7 and the iPhone 7 Plus, and we do not absolutely have any surprises. All the features that they have revealed have already been revealed in various rumors. But do you actually need to upgrade to iPhone 7? Let's say if you have an iPhone 6s, or if you have an older iPhone, or even if you have a different phone like an Android phone. Now let's talk. Let's first get the boring stuff out of the way that usually happens. It's a faster phone, it has better battery life, it has a brighter screen, it has two new colors, a boring matte black, and look, I'm back to phones again, jet black color. That will be a fingerprint magnet. Those two are new colors, absolutely not exciting at all. And apart from those, you also, the prices remains the same. Now let's talk about the changes that we should take note of. Number one is the storage options. I really like the storage options this time. 32 gig to start with, not much, but then at 64 gig price you get 128 GB, and at 128 GB price you get 256 GB. I don't know how many people will actually use a 256 GB phone, but in case you use Apple Music a lot and watch movies and travel a lot, maybe 256 GB might just be plentiful. Apart from that, we also have the camera. Now, one notable improvement on the iPhone 7 is that now the 7 camera has OIS, optical image stabilization. The 6 and 6s did not have that, only the Plus models have that. In this one, both the iPhone 7 and the 7 Plus have optical image stabilization, not only in photo but also in video. That's one advantage that the iPhones now have over the Android phones. The Android phones generally have an electronic software level stabilization during video. In iPhone, we have optical image stabilization both in still as well as in video. Plus, the usual drills, better camera, bigger aperture, 1.8 aperture, better res, FaceTime camera, 7MP camera. Now, what's slightly different, but not so different if you consider all the phones in the market right now, is that the iPhone 7 Plus will come with two 12MP sensors, and they will mainly do two things. Not like a monochrome sensor like the P9 for example, but one of this lens is 25mm and another one is a 56mm. These focal lengths are in 35mm equivalent. So the 25mm is more for wide length, wide field of view. That is, if you want to click, let's say, street photographs or even landscapes and stuff. 56mm, they say it's for portrait, but for portrait I probably would have liked slightly more telephoto lens, maybe in the range of 70s or even 80s. That would be perfect. At 56, it's more kind of a general purpose lens, but still it's not as wide as the 25mm, so you'll still have a compressed background. Now what you can do with this is that you can have a 1x zoom at 25mm, and you can straight away go to 2x zoom at 56mm, and then you can do a digital zoom as well. Digital zoom remains the same at software level. So right now you have two optical zoom levels, 1x and 2x, and there's nothing in between. I probably would have liked a sliding up till 56mm, but that's how it works. So it's either this sensor or the telephoto sensor. Apart from that, they also promised that in late October they'll give a free update of a new feature which is called a depth of field feature, where obviously one sensor acts as a depth field. It will measure the distance from the foreground, that is your subject in most cases, and the background, and they will blur the background at a hardware level. We've seen that in many Android cameras till now. This most recently on the Huawei P9. It does incredibly well with making bokeh and other stuff on the out of focus area. We'll have to see how the iPhone 7 Plus does it, but if you buy the iPhone 7 Plus, that update only will come in late October. Apart from that, now the iPhone 7 and 7 Plus will have IP67 certification, water and dust resistant. We already have that on the Android phones, many Samsung phones and some of the other Android phones also. Some Motorola phones also have IP67, even better certification. And we have a new thing in iPhone, probably the new one in any phone right now, is that a forced touch home button. That means just like the 3D touch that came in the previous iPhones, now you'll have different pressure levels on the home button, and that might invoke different kind of transaction. You might be able to do different things just by applying different kind of pressure on the home button. The third party also can probably take advantage of this. Also, the home button now is solid state, which meaning every time you press the home button, there is no mechanical things below it working, so there is no chances of breakage. So even if you use the home button very extensively, you do not possibly need to worry about breaking it or spoiling it over a period of long usage. Another thing is the audio. I think apart from camera, the biggest change is in audio. So now you have stereo speakers, you have speakers both on the top as well as on the bottom. Plus the biggest change, and for many people possibly the most controversial, is that they remove the 3.5mm audio jack, and now your earphones will have to go into the lightning port, which means that your earphone will have to have a lightning port end, basically male end. So Apple will provide the usual wired Apple earpods will come with a lightning port end. They will also provide an adapter which will have a 3.5mm female on the other end, so that your traditional analog headphones can go in. I explained in a video before that that's probably for the better, because now you'll have better digital quality audio output, but many people still find it hard to accept. So I don't know how that will affect the sale of this iPhone 7 and 7 Plus, but let's see. Also, Apple has introduced a very weird design, an expensive $150 AirPods. Very weird design. I absolutely hate it. I don't know how will I fit them in my ears, but let's see. So those also can be connected Bluetooth wise to the phone, and Apple in fact says there are about 600 million Bluetooth devices, so you won't have any dearth of Bluetooth devices, Bluetooth connectivity to your iPhone 7. Audio wise, they did not mention how many wired instruments are there. There'll be a lot more. So these are the major changes on the iPhone 7 and 7 Plus. Now quickly talking about the price. Luckily and good thing is that as usual they start at the same price point. So the iPhone 7 will cost you $649, and you'll have to pay $100 more for subsequent models. So $749 for 128GB and $849 for the 256GB. But as I told you before, instead of 64GB now you'll get 128GB, and instead of 128 now you'll get 256GB. Also, for iPhone 7 Plus, the price starts at $769 for a 32GB, and for 128GB you'll pay $100 more, and then $100 more even for the 256GB version. If you at all decide to stick to the iPhone 6s, you'll now get a reduced price iPhone 6s, but they have actually upgraded the storage on the new iPhone 6s models to the same as iPhone 7. Like it'll start from 32GB and 128GB. So those are the main developments around iPhone 7 and 7 Plus. Now my impression is that we generally have seen Apple radically improving or doing a total overhaul of the iPhones in 2-year gap, but this is not exactly what I would call a total overhaul. So possibly they're saving it for iPhone 8, which would be Apple's 10-year anniversary, and also possibly with this one they have moved the overhaul cycle to 3 years. So we have 6, 6s, and now 7. 6s and 7 have not been total overhaul, like have not been radical improvement over the previous versions, I would say. I'm afraid, I need to buy them because I need to review them, and I also need to have third-party apps, all kind of stuff. But if you have 6s, you do not need to upgrade to iPhone 7 or 7 Plus. If you really want to do that for the, if you do not have the 6s, that is, then you can buy the iPhone 7 instead of the 6s, because of that OIS mainly and some of the other improvements. But I do not see much use of buying the iPhone 7 Plus over iPhone 7 if you're strictly on budget. If you have budget, definitely go for the 7 Plus. It will give you some real improvements. Still use the iPhone as my primary device. I'll probably wait another year. Thank you.